Hello everyone, I'm Tom Hicks. I'm the host of Ridin'SoCal, and thank you all for being with us today. Today we have Clare Cameron. And Clare, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tom, for inviting me.
We're going to talk today about a motorcycle ride that's a tribute to Steve McQueen, and that ride is the Great Escape ride.
The Greatest Escape. Yeah.
It's the Greatest Escape
yes.
ride. Okay.
So it actually originated from the movie The Great Escape, starring Steve McQueen. And, you know, he died of mesothelioma, which is the disease that we actually are trying to find better treatments for. And when I started with the Pacific Heart, Lung and Blood Institute 5 years ago, the anniversary of the movie was coming up, the 50th anniversary. So I sat around the table with our board of directors and said, we ought to do something about Steve McQueen and this movie. Why don't we do a motorcycle ride? I didn't know anything about putting on a motorcycle ride. And everybody said, terrific. What should we call it? And we said, well, we can't call it The Great Escape. Let's call it The Greatest Escape.
Right.
And so that was born. So we did our first ride 4 years ago, and Lorenzo Lamas was our...
outstanding.
Yeah, he was our Grand Marshal. And then the next year we had Perry King as our Grand Marshal. And last year Fabio was our Grand Marshal. He's agreed to do it again this year. Yeah.
And they're all motorcyclists.
They're all motorcyclists. Fabio absolutely loves his bikes. He's probably got a couple of Triumphs, if I'm not surprised.
Actually, I think he does.
I think so, but he's trying to get 365 bikes, so he wants one for every single day of the year, and he's almost there.
That's an achievement.
It is. Yeah.
Just the storage alone.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell us about, now this ride's been on for 4 years, okay? Now, it's starting at Glendale Harley-Davidson this year.
Right.
What's the date of it? It's July 24th?
July 24th, so it's this Sunday.
Okay.
It's 8:30 a.m. in the morning as the kickoff. We have Jack FM there. We have, you know, bagels and coffee and orange juice. And then once everybody's registered on their bikes, we've got all the VIPs lined up with the celebrities. We will take off by escort up. And so they literally stop all the street lights all the way up to the crest. So it goes up Los Angeles Crest Highway to
Newcomb's?
To Newcomb's, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, obviously this is a really big deal. Now, Glendale Harley-Davidson, now I've always admired them for so many years because they have put on the Love Ride.
Yes, that's right.
Now, the Love Ride's gone away, and now this...
I was hoping this would be as big as the Love Ride, but I don't think we'd be able to cope with that.
The Love Ride took many years to grow, to get as big as it was. I've been going to the Love Ride for over 20 years, you know, so...
We do have some Love Ride gear on the raffle, actually,
outstanding.
which will be fun.
So, okay, so everybody's going to meet at Glendale Harley-Davidson, kind of like the Love Ride, I guess. You know, they've got plenty of room for everyone to meet. And sign in?
Sign in, register. It's best to register online because it's cheaper, obviously, if they do that before the day.
And how would we have all of our people register?
So they need to go to the greatestescape.org.
Okay.
Just go on there and register. It's $40 for a rider and $30 for a passenger.
And most all this goes to charity.
This is 100% of the proceeds will go to the Pacific Mesothelioma Center. Yeah.
Outstanding. So $40 for the rider, $30 for the passenger, which is a norm for those big events like that.
Yeah, it's not bad. And that includes lunch, a bandana, a ride pin, and the concert once they get up to the ranch.
Well, then all of a sudden that turns into a hell of a bargain.
That's a hell of a bargain, and it's a lot of fun.
For a whole day and having a concert and lunch and even the other goodies.
Yes.
Wow. So, okay. So everyone's come to Glendale Harley-Davidson. Now it's going to be an escorted ride.
An escorted ride. So we have 10 police, well, they're ex-police officers actually, who will escort the riders right through the city of Glendale.
So they've obviously gotten the licenses and permits. And
they've got all the permits.
Tour. And I don't know, for all of our viewers, if you've ever been on a ride like that has a police escort, it is so much fun. You ride through town and you're waving and people come out to the curbs and it's just really, really fun.
I would love to do it. I'm not a rider, Tom.
Not yet? Or?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm thinking of going in a sidecar sometime soon. But we will have lots of different bikes. So we'll have Triumphs, Ducatis,
Well, it's not
sidecars.
like the Love Ride was really 85-90% Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
This ride's different?
This is going to be a mixture of bikes. I mean, obviously we'll have a lot of Harleys there,
Well, of course.
but
Harley outnumbers everything.
yeah, but
anyway.
you know, I know that a couple of our sponsors ride BMWs.
Sure.
I know that somebody was coming on their Triumph Bonneville 100, and I'm trying to remember who that was, but I was told that the other day. So yeah, so
The
there's going to be a
T100, yeah.
mixture.
Well, good. And so, and then the ride itself is from Glendale Harley Davidson to Newcomb's Ranch.
37 miles.
I was going to say 40. Oh, okay, good.
Spot on.
Okay,
Yeah.
37 miles. So you're talking about a ride that's going to take probably an hour because they're going to be going slower,
Yeah,
right?
probably an hour.
And with all the tours, so
Yeah.
that's just nothing. Now,
Yeah.
by today's standards, that's just jump on your bike and just go have an incredible
Right.
amount of fun. So when they get to Newcomb's Ranch, everything's happening. The concerts
Everything's
at Newcomb's?
happening. Yes, so we have a barbecue lunch. We have great ribs. We have K-Earth 101, and Gary Bryan is going to be there.
Oldies.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. We have vendors. We have a beautiful entertainment by Cherry and the Bulldogs.
Now, this is on a Sunday. Newcomb's gets a little bit busy on Sundays, so
it
this will
does.
be interesting because
Yeah.
I know Newcomb's has a fair amount of room, but I'm trying to picture where you're going to be putting this entire group plus all the vendors.
It's a challenge, but
Oh,
we
I'll
did
bet.
it last year, and we're actually going to reverse it this year. So we had the vendors on the side, on the one side of Newcomb's, but we thought we'll put the vendors closer to the barbecue this year.
Okay.
And we do have, about 17 volunteers who are kindly going to come up and park everybody and make sure everybody gets
excellent,
parked.
excellent.
And they're priding themselves. They say they're going to do it in 5 minutes. We'll have to see.
They're going to park the entire.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
That's going to be
Yeah.
really interesting.
And it is, Newcomb's Los Angeles Crest Highway was actually voted one of the top 15 ride routes in the whole of America. So it is a beautiful
Well, you know
ride.
what? Well, let's talk about. We'll go off on a little tangent because we do that at this show. Riding Angeles Crest or any of the twisties out there, California is so fortunate to have some of the greatest roads. And I've ridden all over the world, and I tell you what, the roads in California are so incredible. The only thing that you have to watch out for is you got, unfortunately, too many people out there wanting or thinking that they're Valentino Rossi with no experience and no training, and they go out there and try to make it their personal racetrack.
Yeah.
And so there's too many tragic situations that happen, and trying to get a handle on that, and all my only advice I could have to all of our listeners and audience is to slow it down. If you want to go fast, if you think you are Valentino or you think you want to be Valentino, go to a track day, because I'm going to tell you something. Track days, are you familiar with track
No,
days?
not.
Track days are a situation where someone who owns a sport bike can go out to a racetrack and pay a couple $100, get expert training, and go out and ride sessions on that racetrack all day long.
As fast as they want.
As fast as they want, as fast as they can. And it really is the safest place that you can operate your motorcycle. And that might sound a little weird, but you have expert medical care should you happen to fall down. Everyone's going the same direction.
That helps.
They're looking for no one's pulling out in front of you and things like that.
Right.
There's a runoff room. Let's say you're low side and you're sliding, not like Angeles Crest or any one of the twisties. You're not going to slide off a cliff or into a tree.
Right.
You actually have room to slide off. It really is, and they absolutely insist that you wear complete racing leathers, where it's a full leather suit with armor, and you've got boots and full face helmet that meet all the DOT and Schnell specifications.
Mm-hmm.
That, if you ride and want to go fast, go do it there. Now, let's go over to Angeles Crest Highway. What a beautiful, I was just on it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
And with my Triumph T120, the 1200cc at Bonneville. But to go out there and ride those roads, All my life I rode too fast in those roads when I was young, and I'm lucky to be alive to this day. And it is so wonderful now that I still ride at what you would call a brisk pace, because that's what a motorcycle is all about. You want to feel it going around the corners, right?
Right.
But you want to keep it under control. You want to keep it safe. And when you do, you actually do something that I never was able to do all those days that I was going too fast. I could never see anything.
Really?
Yeah, because if you're going really fast through the twisties,
right.
all you're interested in is that next apex. You can't be sitting there go, oh, look at the deer, or oh, look at that. You can't do that because you'll crash.
Right. Well, you must be a good rider.
I've been riding a long time.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. And so slowing it down just a bit and riding more within your comfort level, not only do you get to enjoy the aspects of the performance aspects of the motorcycle, but you actually see things. It's so wonderful to see a deer and to see the different things that you can see, and just the scenery itself. Mm-hmm. You get everybody to ride like that, it's so much fun. And like with your group, it obviously, with that group, it'll be safer because, one, it's being led.
Yeah.
Right? And so they're not going to allow people to get break the speed limit and go off trying to race.
That is right.
So your event will, in its very nature, be very safe.
And they're going to get a nice safety lecture before they take off
Good.
by the
That's
captain.
Perfect.
He's going
We
to tell
do that
them.
with our demo rides here at Southern California Motorcycles. There's always a safety briefing before any demo group goes out, because it's always the one or two that can ruin it for everybody. So that's why you've got to lay the rules out there at the very beginning and say, guys, we really want, guys and girls, of course, we really want everybody to have a good time. But look, we still have some rules. And here are the rules. You abide by that. Everybody's going to have a good time.
Right.
So what else can you tell us about the event in itself?
So I just think, it's going to be a fun day for everybody. You don't have to ride a bike to come and join the activities. A lot of people are just going to drive up to the ranch for lunch. And that's just $25 for, the barbecue lunch and the concert. I think it's going to be another fun event. And I would just, encourage everybody to come and join us for a great cause and to have a good time.
Now, what kind of attendance are we expecting for this?
Tom, it's certainly not anywhere near the Love Ride.
Well, nothing is.
No,
the Love Ride was, I think for years it was renowned as the biggest motorcycle event. Well, in a single ride. I mean, you have Sturgis and you have Daytona, and they're really huge. But for a single ride type of thing, an event, the Love Ride was always renowned for how big it was. Yeah. No, I certainly wouldn't expect it. But do you think maybe there's going to be 100, 200?
Yeah, I think we're catering for 185 people. So I think that would be great.
That's a really good size too, because it's not too big. And I have to say, unfortunately, it got to the point where the Love Ride was so big that it was you had to really be committed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we won't have that situation on ours. We'll definitely be looking after everyone.
Hopefully you'll hit your goals on that, and then obviously it helps mesothelioma.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. I remember when I was first offered the job, I went home to my husband and said, "You never guess what? Dr. Cameron, who shares the same name as me, is our scientific advisor. He asked me to come and work for him, and he's looking for a cure for mesothelioma." And I couldn't say it. My husband said, "You know what? I don't think you can take this job. If you can't pronounce mesothelioma, you better learn to do that fast." And I know it is a hard word to, and it's.
I'm a radio show host. I can't even.
Mesothelioma, yeah.
Now you come from.
I'm from Zimbabwe originally, which was Rhodesia.
Wow.
And actually, my great-grandmother was a pioneer to the country. She came up with Cecil John Rhodes, the founder. He was the man who stuck his pole in the middle of the land and said, "I declare this land Rhodesia." And I think he's probably the only person in the world that a country is named after.
No kidding.
So it was a lovely place to grow up, Tom. It was. I'm very pleased I had my childhood and young adulthood there.
Obviously, a big British.
Yes, it was a British colony, and that was the problem. So,
did they get their independence?
Yeah, they got their independence.
Showing my ignorance of that situation.
Well, the Prime Minister at the time, Ian Smith, actually declared UDI, so he declared Unilateral Declaration of Independence, and that meant just that the whole world cut us off, and we were in a war with Russia and China, and them taking guys out of the country to train them and send them back in again to kill our farmers. So I went through all that, and then Robert Mugabe actually came into power on the 18th of April, 1980. It was my birthday, I remember that very well. And my mother, I wasn't there at the time, my mother said you could have heard a pin drop when he got in. Nobody had heard of him. But he assured everybody, stay, I'm going to make this a good country, you're going to be fine, we don't want the whites to leave. And he was really a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he's brought the country almost to a standstill. And he's still in power, and he's 92. So you can imagine, I'm very pleased to be living in America.
Well, I've been to England many times, being a Triumph dealer here, Southern California Triumph, and I noticed the accent, of course.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very fond of the UK.
Well, I spent 18 years in England.
Wow.
Yeah, and went into the television business, and had no idea that I would ever land up in the charity business. And it took me 3 continents to get here, to realize that this is really what I should have been doing all my life. I get such a kick out of doing things for other people and knowing that we're actually going to be making a difference. At some stage, we're going to be making a difference. And we're doing so well in our research. We actually, research is arduous, and it costs a lot of money and takes a long time. And we need to get another researcher in the lab. But right now, our researcher is having some really good progress with mesenchymal stem cells. And they come from placenta or bone marrow. And they act as a Trojan horse to carry the anti-cancer agent to the site of the tumor. So we're very pleased with our progress. We have a lot more to do. We have the road ahead of us is long, but I'm hoping one day soon we'll be able to say, we've got some really good treatments for mesothelioma. We're going to help you live longer.
Wow. That's outstanding, because obviously, it's always such a fear when you want to give money to a charity, of course, and then you wonder, I wonder how good that charity is. I wonder, because unfortunately, like anything in this world, there's good and bad.
Yep.
And there's charities that 1% goes to the actual charity and 99 to the people, that are running it.
Right.
But this doesn't sound that way at all. No,
it's not. No, we're pretty efficient with our money. We keep our expenses really, really low. Even just going up to the ranch, working with Freddie, who is the owner of the ranch, he is the most lovely man. Can't do enough for you. I mean, he literally bends over backwards to help us.
Newcomb's Ranch, of course, is a major stop for motorcyclists in Southern California. If you want to go out for a weekend, you're going to go to Cook's Corner or the Lookout or Newcomb's Ranch or anything, or the Rock Store. And it's a legendary place to go. And if you've not been there, this will give you even more of an excuse to go see Newcomb's Ranch for the first time. We're going to use this for our first break. So I'm Tom Hicks, and we'll be back with you in a couple minutes. Hello everyone, we're back, and I'm Tom Hicks, and this is Ridin'SoCal, and I'm here with Clare Cameron. Cameron. Okay.
Scottish.
Clare, tell us a little bit about the tie-in with Steve McQueen. Is it just because he had the disease?
He had peritoneal mesothelioma. It was in his stomach. And, in 1980, they didn't really know what to do with this disease. I mean, we've come a long way since then. And so he found a doctor in Mexico, a charlatan doctor, who said, I can cure you. Come down here, and took Steve McQueen's money, gave him avocado pits and coffee enemas, and shampooed him with special shampoos. And Steve McQueen really believed that he was actually getting cured, to such an extent that he went on Mexican radio and thanked the Mexican government for saving his life. Apparently Barbara McQueen, who was his previous wife, she heard this broadcast, and she was driving up PCH, and she pulled over the side of the road, and she listened to the broadcast, and she just sobbed and sobbed because she knew that he was dying. and he came back to the States, and he died. He went through quite a lot of agony, actually. It was awfully sad. I just wish that, he was around now so we could help him so much more, because peritoneal is actually, they do have much longer lifespans on peritoneal. So it can be in 3 places, this disease. It can be around the heart, the lung, or the stomach.
And have they figured out, is it asbestos related or something of that sort?
Yes, as far as we know, it's asbestos related.
Wow.
So, asbestos...
was in everything.
Was in everything.
What we don't really realize.
In everything.
And if you buy an old house, especially, or you rent an old house, you live in an old house, have it checked out, because it's in tile, it's in the walls, it's in the ceiling. It's just everywhere.
Everywhere. It was used since the time of the Greeks, and they called it's a Greek word, asbestos. It means inextinguishable, and they discovered then, in those days, that people who worked with this mineral actually usually developed lung disease.
Wow.
And so it took a long time before the world went, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. And so I think in 1975, asbestos was stopped being, we've stopped using it in buildings, but it still comes into the country.
Because I was just thinking about that. When I was young, I was an apprentice carpenter, and we'd do room additions, and I remember it being like a hot day, and I'd take my shirt off, and I'd be putting asbestos, I forget what it's called, but asbestos up in the ceilings before we would drywall it.
Right.
Insulation,
yes.
And I would just itch and but that was a dumb youngster. But,
Well, only 15% of people who are exposed to it actually develop this. And the worst thing about this disease is that there's no symptoms. So it just, it gets lodged around your lung, say, for instance, and it sits there for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Wow.
Then people sort of have a problem, go, I'm coughing a little bit, or I can't make that hill. And then, it's sometimes not that easy to diagnose either. And then usually, because it's been sitting inside of you for so long, when they find it, it's very often stage 4 sarcomatoid.
Oh, horrible. Well, we'll get on to the more positive side of it. Go on this motorcycle ride, the Greatest Escape ride, and it'll help. It always helps giving to these charities, and yours seems like a really good deal. So what we're going to go over once more is you're going to go up to Glendale Harley Davidson. It's the ride starts at
registration 8:30, and the ride kicks off at 10.
Okay, so you be there at 8:30, because with a lot of people, registration takes a little while, and it's $40 for the rider, $30 for the passenger, which is a deal now.
A little bit more on the day. So if they don't register online...
Oh, that's right. If you don't register online...
It's going to be $45. It'll go up by $5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And registering online is always, that's good, because it makes it quicker.
Yes, and then we can cater for the lunches more efficiently.
What is the email?
So it's... if they want to...
not the email. How to register it online.
Okay, so go to www.thegreatestescape.org. Thegreatestescape.org. Yeah.
Okay, go on that and pre-register. Head on up there, and then it's going to be a guided ride through the streets and waving at everybody. I love parades. It's just wonderful. All the way to Newcomb's Ranch. Newcomb's Ranch is absolutely a fantastic place to go. You're going to have beyond a good time, and it's for a good cause.
Yes. Thank you, Tom.
Well, good. Well,
thank you very much.
Try to make sure. Oh, and it's this weekend.
Yes, this Sunday.
This Sunday, July 24th. So,
yeah.
But with that said, we want to talk about a couple things with Southern California motorcycles. To stay in tune with everything that happens here at Southern California Motorcycles, go on our website. I mean, we spend an incredible amount of time making sure that our website has all the information for you, and that's SoCalMotorcycles.com. And that's plural, SoCalMotorcycles.com. Go on there. You can see the YouTube and listen to the Ridin'SoCal shows. You can see all the things that are happening with the dealership on a daily basis. And go and register for Tom's Tidbits. That's our weekly newsletter. And it's just a newsletter telling you about events around the dealership, what's happening, bike nights, and just fun stuff. And so our website's going to tell you everything that you need to know about what's happening, at least in this little motorcycle community that we have. Also, we're having our grand reopening of Southern California Suzuki here at Southern California Motorcycles, and that's on August 6th. We have done an incredible amount of remodeling here at the dealership, so if you haven't been here for a while, come on down, because not only is Ducati expanding, but this will be the grand opening of Southern California's grand reopening of Southern California Suzuki. We're going to have demo rides. It'll be like one of our typical events. Hopefully you've been to one before, but if not, we try to have a good time. We also have vendors and demo rides and free food and raffles, and we just we do everything here we can to make sure that everybody has a good time. Kind of in sorts what you're doing with the Greatest Escape Ride.
Right, sounds like it. Sounds fun.
Well, thank you very much for being here, Claire.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Tom. It's been lovely.
Well, thank you. And I'm Tom Hicks. This is Ridin'SoCal, and we will be back with you next week.